Everyone, and welcome to the committee's 29th meeting in 2020. Could I ask people to make sure that their mobile phones are on silent? The meeting will be conducted in hybrid format, with some of our members participating remotely. There are several items on the agenda. Just to remind members that we will be pausing at 11 o'clock today to recognise the Remembrance Day. So the first item on the agenda is a decision on taking business in private. The committee is asked to consider taking item 3 in private. This is to allow the committee to discuss its work programme. Are members agreed? Yes, it appears members are agreed. Therefore, that is agreed, and we'll move on to agenda item 2, which is the European Union Withdrawal Act. We have received a consent notification in relation to 3 UK statutory instruments as detailed on the agenda. These instruments are being laid in the UK Parliament in relation to the European Union Withdrawal Act 2018. Several issues have been highlighted in our papers, particularly on the interaction with other pieces of legislation and policy. For example, plant varieties and seeds, which the notification covers. The common framework in this area will only be available for the committee to consider after the SI has come into effect. I would ask if any members of the committee have any comments on this. I see Emma Harper wants to raise a comment. Emma, good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning, thank you. I just wanted to ask a couple of questions about some of the info that's in the SIs. On page 2 of the summary of the briefing, it talks about animal byproducts, ABP, transmissible spongiform encephalopathies. And on page 2, it talks about we're setting conditions for the use of ABPs for research, diagnostic and artistic purposes. I just wanted to clarify why would we need artistic purposes? What was that?
Sorry, just give me a moment. Why we would need what? Sorry, Emma, could you just clarify? I didn't quite catch that.
It's the word, the power to set conditions for the use of ABPs, which is animal byproducts, for research, diagnostic and artistic purposes.
Okay, I mean, I don't know the answer to that, so we can ask that question when we raise it, but I'm assuming that it's to do with the fact that there is some requirement to test for BSE and TSEs, and that's why the byproducts are needed. Stuart, but Emma, we can raise that question with the questions that we're going to be raising, I assume, anyway. Stuart, you wanted to come in.
I think it would be perfectly proper to ask the question, but in relation to artistic purposes, I suspect that it might be of deceased animals as part of an artistic display, whether stuffed or otherwise preserved. I seem to recall the National Gallery in London on one occasion having a deceased animal exhibited in a glass case of formaldehyde. So I can sort of foresee what it might be, but I think greater clarity might be useful to the committee in understanding the meaning that Emma has identified. Convener?
Thank you very much, Stuart. Does anyone have any other comment? Sorry, Emma, you wanted back in. Sorry.
Well, thank you for that clarification, because I find that quite interesting. I also just wanted to raise an issue about the veterinary medicines and residues part of the paper. So on page 11, paragraph 41 and 42 talks about veterinary medicines and residues. So I'm assuming that residues are chemicals retained by an animal which can then be inserted into the food chain. And so there are parts of the veterinary medicines which are reserved, and then of course there's devolved issues to do with public health and food safety. And so in paragraph 41 it talks about functions conferred on the Scottish Ministers in relation to the detection and enforcement of non-compliance regarding the presence of residues of veterinary medicines. And in my work recently, looking at antibiotics such as Carbamax in pigs, or ractopamine, which is a hormone that makes pigs leaner. These chemicals are used in the United States, and I have raised concerns about Carbamax and ractopamine and the potential of our food supply chain having these potential residues in our food supply chain. So I would be interested to just pursue that in whatever way we need to do to see if I should be concerned or if I should not be concerned.
Again, Emma, that's a question that we can pose when we submit the other questions, and I don't think anyone's brave enough to venture an answer for that one. So let's ask the government with our questions. Does anyone have any other questions? Emma, is that you in again, or are you? No, I think you've muted, so that's fine. You all right? Okay, so my question is bearing in mind the additional 2 questions that have been raised today, does the committee agree to write to this? Sorry, Maureen.
Where have the other questions come from?
The other questions were in our papers, based on the legal advice that have been submitted to all the committees in relation to these.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Sorry, you're happy with that, Maureen? Okay, so my question is, with the additional questions that have been raised by Emma today, does the committee agree to write to the Scottish Government to confirm its content for the consent and ask for answers to the questions that have been raised? We appear to be agreed. As we are agreed, that concludes that part, and the committee will now go into private session. So, thank you.